Welcome. This is Naturally Gnar, the show talking about Arkansas and all of the cool stuff that happens in it.
Mm-hmm.
We have a very special guest in the mobile podcast studio. We're at Bentonville Bike Fest to preface, and we have the illustrious Cab in STEVE Caballero in the studio.
Yeah.
Howdy.
How
Dude.
are you, man?
I'm doing good. Thanks
Doing
for
good.
having me.
Yeah.
Super stoked you made it over here, man.
Got Scot Ripple, our
Appreciate it.
co-host,
Yeah.
co-hosting. He's our normal co-host on the on all of our mountain bike specific episodes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But this one's actually kind of probably the most I would say fitting because and you know of all of the skate guests that I've wanted to have on the show, you're like at the top,
Oh,
like
thank you.
at the serious top, because you know we talk about this thing that we call shred adjacent, and it's when you see two people or two different demographics that you know want to shred and do it in their way. And skateboarders, you know, we have, you know, being a skateboarder, you have this like inclination to like, you know, it's only skate and destroy, you know, got it tattooed on the arm. But you've been on the mountain bike. How's that been for you?
It's been great sometimes and not so great sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, elaborate a little bit on that for me.
The not great part is crashing.
Yeah, you had a bail not too long ago. Is that right?
I've had lots of
You had lots of bails.
One known one, right?
Yeah. Well, you're fortunately enough, you're heavy on the social, so we get to see it over here.
Yeah, I mean, I like to share my life with people, and
Yeah.
I assume that's what social media is for. Is
You're
to
right. Yeah.
people to follow you and,
For sure.
and to know what you're into. And so, you know, I post what kind of things I eat, the coffee I drink,
Yeah.
my influences, and I just post pretty much daily things that I do.
Right.
And sometimes I get to do a lot of great things, and I like to share what's going on in my life because I guess I would be known as an influencer.
Sure.
And I feel like I've influenced many people since the beginning of me being in the public eye.
Oh yeah,
dude. You're looking at two people that are influenced from you.
12 years old to today. I mean, I'm 53, and it's
That's
like
awesome.
sometimes I go, man, I shouldn't be doing drop the hammer and stuff, and then it's like Cab's still rocking.
Cab's
and like,
rocking,
yeah,
dude.
he's paving the way that
And-
it's possible.
And you're sending like most things that you
Yeah.
come across.
I try. I mean, I try to keep up.
Have you done drop the hammer at Kohler?
Yesterday we
You
did.
did it?
Yeah,
Cool.
I saw Mark was doing it. And,
Yeah.
he told me all about it, and we were supposed to hook up and ride together, but we never connected.
Never connected.
It's just the festival is just huge,
It is.
and I'm with the YT crew.
That's right.
You know, I
Yeah.
came out here on their dime.
Yep.
I'm just very fortunate that I have a passion for mountain bikes, and I'm able to participate with other people that have the same interests and same love. So
Sure.
for them to want to fly me out here and be a part of their celebration, they just opened up a new mill, YT mill.
That's right. Yeah, we were there last night.
Yeah, it was a great
Yeah.
party.
It was very cool.
You know, the mayor was there earlier.
Oh,
with the
right.
chain cutting.
I saw that. I saw that
yeah.
on social. Yeah.
That's cool.
So, you know, I felt like the community here, I've heard a lot about Arkansas and Bentonville and the bike community, and now I finally got to experience it firsthand.
Great.
And so I have a lot to say when I go back home. You know, I
That's
have
great.
a lot of positive things I want to talk about. I'm going to make a post about this whole trip, you know, pretty much after this podcast.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And just kind of let people know the things I experienced here, the people, the riding.
Mhm.
In a nutshell, this is kind of like Sky Park on steroids,
There we go.
pretty much.
What did I
We-
say?
We've actually had that.
I used to live in San Diego, so Sky Park is where I started. It's like a free
It's a free Sky Park
that's
that's
like-
huge.
Pretty much.
yeah, that
So-
somebody invested a lot of more money into.
Sure.
You know, so for sure.
Yeah, and I learned that Walmart's from here.
Yep.
as well. So,
Yep.
and
This is
I
the Walmart
learned,
territory.
and I,
Yep.
I learned a lot of history about how much Walmart has backed this whole community with mountain biking, and
Absolutely.
and so that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
You know, so on a positive note, they've done a lot for the sport of mountain bike. So if anyone's into mountain biking and they want to experience this place, you want to thank Walmart for it.
That's I really appreciate you like putting that spin on it, because there is a if you look at social, it's kind of 50-50. It's a little divided when they're talking about Walmart's contribution to this.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So like you know, I saw a comment, and I'm not trying to personify the feeling of everybody in this one comment, but one that really stood out to me was some, you know, random biker out there that said on it was on Single Track, the Instagram Single Track, and it was something like I would never put my tires on a trail made by greedy billionaires or something like that. And you know, I'm curious, do you feel like that's the vibe here?
No, I mean, everyone's got their own personal agenda.
Sure.
They're trying to come across with social media.
Mhm.
You know, I think a lot of people like to hijack posts, and they pretty much don't even talk about what's being posted.
Dude,
It's pretty much their own agenda in their head or in their heart. And when they find any opportunity to express their opinion, they're going to do it.
yeah, that's a good point.
Regardless if it's has to do anything to do with what's being presented.
Sure.
I get it all the time on social media because I post a lot of stuff, and I'll read the comments. I'm like, wow, this has nothing to do with what I just posted.
You're taking this way further
Yeah.
than I was even trying.
Yeah.
You know, you have a simple, you know, we have agendas when we post on social,
Right.
and they can put their agenda spin on it.
They put their spin on it, and
That's a great
so
point.
it kind of draws away from what you're trying to originally post.
Right.
So those kind of posts, I don't let them linger on my page, because if it has nothing to do with what I'm talking about, I just erase it.
Dude.
Oh, that's
Okay.
interesting.
Yeah.
Just take it away. And if they complain about that, then that's their problem with you now,
Yeah.
which is fine.
Yeah.
You-
It,
I've learned like you can't please everybody.
sure.
So I'm not here to make everybody happy.
Dude,
Okay.
I love it.
I'm here to voice my own opinion. It's my page. Don't tell me or don't try to control who I am.
Sure.
So if you don't jive with what I'm posting, then just scroll up. It's
Yeah,
that
Just
easy.
pass by it or unfollow.
And
You know,
follow.
like, why are you following
Yeah.
if you have such a negative opinion of you know what we're sharing? You know, even going back to that Single Track post, the Single Tracks we're trying to promote. So recently the Walton Family Foundation, I believe it was the Walton Family Foundation, or Blue Crane, which is just one of their like real estate property investment companies, and they purchased 2,700 acres in Bella Vista, which is
Yeah.
north of here. And you know, there's tons of speculation. There's some people who actually know what's going on.
Yeah.
I'm not one of them. But regardless, you know, I look at the place where we're at right now is Kohler Mountain Bike Preserve. You've gotten it right here, and you know, it's preserving the space for mountain biking.
Yeah.
And that's cool. I mean, I wish that we had something like that for skateboarding. You know, it's when skate parks come in, it always feels like a burden. You know, like can we please have just a little sliver of land to put a skate park in, please?
Yeah,
You know?
and we do all this like research and bring in these like specific skate park builders, and it's like it always comes down to we'll do it, but we'll do it ourselves. We're not gonna, you know.
Yeah, because it's a budget. They have budgets, and you know, in everything revolves around money.
Yep.
And if you got the money, you can make things happen.
Yep, that's true.
I mean, that's the way the world works.
Well, we're fortunate because Tom and Stuart, who are the you know, they will call them children, but they're grown adults. They have a passion for mountain biking.
Yeah.
And they brought that passion to us, for us, with us. It's you know, you can talk agenda all you want. You know, tourism is great for our area, but honestly, we're reaping the benefits.
No, it's amazing, and just more jobs, more opportunities, and just more joy out of people wanting to come here. It's gonna make waves across the U.S. and this place will be a visit, a place that people want to come because they're into mountain biking, and because it's like you guys are making it a go-to place for people who have the same passion,
Right.
you know, and that's I don't see anything negative about that, but I'm sure someone who with a pessimistic personality can find negativity in everything, you know. So you got to remember who you're dealing with. You know, there's two types of people. There's optimistics and pessimistics, and I kind of try to stay away from the people who are always complaining.
Sure.
You know, it's just a downer, and I don't want to be around that. My life's too short. I just want to be happy.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I'm a dreamer, so I'm all with you on that one.
Yeah.
On the optimism.
Yeah, I was gonna say on that note, like, you know, they claim it's the mountain bike capital of the world, but the perception that people have is that it's just the trails. Like their perception is, there's way better trails everywhere else, and then some people forget that it's not really about just the trails, it's about the experience, and that's why they call it that. You know, you can go to Walmart here on the square and there's a whole like center to pump your tires up, to fix your bikes, there's tools and everything. Just
it's a community, you know, and it's people who are kind of giving back to a sport that they enjoy, and so a perfect example, so Yoshimura is a motorcycle
very familiar
company, and they're in the street and dirt, and the president fell in love with mountain biking, so now they have he wanted to make parts for mountain bikes, so now they build the stem, they make a special pedal,
their pedals
for
are
Yoshimura.
so cool.
we checked them out
Yeah,
at
Sedona
years ago.
Fest, bike festival.
And the guy who's a president, or you know, his parents passed down the company to him, his grandparents. He rides and he makes the pedals himself. You know what I mean? So it's just, you know, when you have someone that has an interest or a love for something and they want to give back, you know, I mean, obviously this money is coming from motorcycles.
Sure.
You know, it's not coming from the mountain bike
side yet.
But for, you know, he's just paving a way to get other people interested, and you know, just sharing the love and passion, and that's what it is. That's what it's all about, is just sharing the love and passion for the things that bring joy in our lives, and these people are doing it, and some people have money, and some people don't. So I just keep in my mind when you said that guy said, I don't want to step foot on a trail that that greedy people. I mean, I'm trying to understand why would Walmart be greedy?
Where's the perspective?
Where's the greedy at?
Yeah. Well, I think that they're trying to tether.
I don't understand what that means.
Well, you know, I think that they're trying to tether Walmart and its activity. You know, like employee wages and stuff like that, or you know, and I'm not privy to, you know, what all those issues or problems are. But also I want to just say that, like, it's completely separate. I don't feel like I proclaim this. You do not feel like you're on a Walmart trail when you're out here. It doesn't, there's nothing, they're not putting their logos on everything. That's not even what it's about.
Yeah, that would be kind of weird. If
That'd be kind of weird.
Walmart everywhere. Yeah, then that
just
would be
big
like
arches that say Walmart over everything.
Now they're trying to do an ad out of everything.
Right.
And some people do that, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't really understand. I think maybe the guy's perception is if you have money, and you've made money, that there's some kind of type of greed
that you've taken advantage.
But it's actually the complete opposite.
Yeah,
these guys are putting money into.
They're giving.
They're not trying to take money back.
Yeah,
they're giving into
the opposite.
Right.
Greedy.
So,
Here, have all these great trails.
Maybe he just needs to understand what the word means.
Totally.
Well, and you know, going back to what you said about everybody having like an agenda and wanting to put their spin on it. You know, I think that's something that social media is actually really tough to navigate, because so many people are trying to use it for their voice.
Yeah.
And you know, we are trying to, just like you said, we're just trying to share our fun, like our lives.
Right.
And we don't need a third, fourth opinion. I guess that's what the comment sections are for. But
well, there's people out there that actually their agenda is to find things that they can critique and
Sure.
turn into negativity.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
they're not going to unfollow you. That's what they're there for.
Why block them?
Yeah. There's that feature.
So,
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
But it does. It's lame that there's people out there that's like
yeah.
negativity sells
yeah.
kind of.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like the comment pages allow someone to share something with the person presenting something.
Mhm.
I think what people forget is my page isn't an open forum.
Mhm.
Even though my page is not private, but it's not an open forum for someone to just it's my home.
Yeah.
So you can't just come and camp.
It's like
out
you're coming
there.
into my
Yeah.
home.
So
Yeah.
it's in my home.
Absolutely.
So just respect it, you know,
Yeah,
because
it's kinda rude.
I feel I don't do that to other people's pages. You know, I
Yeah.
don't go to there and visit their home and then make
Yeah.
a camp out there and,
Sure.
and try to
Yeah.
say what I have to say that's on my heart, you know. So I would just hope that people had the same respect, you know.
Okay.
Obviously, you know, as a human being, you kind of you want people to praise and acknowledge you. That's why we're on social media. If I didn't want people to acknowledge me, I wouldn't even be on the
Sure.
on the app, you
Yeah.
know, on the platform. But I do want people to acknowledge who I am, what I do, and it's just nice to have nice comments,
Yeah.
you know, and just lift people up, you know, instead of
Uplifting
putting down,
comments. Sure.
you know.
Well, I mean, I can even say, you know, I've found myself in positions where I wanted to maybe voice an unpopular opinion. And I would sit there on that post and I'd even tap on the comment thinking like, I'm going to say something about this. And something in me stops myself from doing it, where I just say like, you know, I don't think I want to add negativity. You know, I could, and if I do have that negative opinion, I can have it. It's for me to have,
Right.
but I don't need to like down this person's post or page or whatever for my personal opinion. I don't think that that's, you know, right for anybody to have that kind of control over somebody, you know.
Well, if you're invited, like
If you're invited,
if the post
absolutely.
says, what do you think?
What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead. That's
Go for
that's
it.
an open.
Oh, then it
open
becomes the open
invitation.
forum. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's right. That's
But I
right.
normally don't post what do you think.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah. And sometimes it's good to just type it out and then you get it off your
Then you
chest.
get it off your
Yeah.
chest and you're like, okay, I'm done. Delete
I
it.
do that with shopping sometimes. I'm like, I've got to have all this stuff.
And you
I'll
put it
walk
in the
around
cart.
store with it for a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay.
Okay, I don't
really
want it anymore.
Well, there's also a place you send to someone a DM if you don't agree what they say,
Oh,
and be like,
sure.
hey, you know, I was checking out your post and this
That's
is
a great
this
point.
is my opinion, my opinion or my perspective of what you're saying.
Mhm.
I didn't want to post it on your page because I just wanted to tell you and maybe have a discussion with you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know,
and
but-
that's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah. Even if it's, not what you want to hear or it's not what you meant,
yeah,
but at least it's respectful to say,
It's
"Hey,
respectful.
I'm not putting it out for everybody to see. Well, I'm not on a stage.
Mhm.
Right. So I just posted something today, and one comment was like, "That's just straight dumb." That is just straight dumb.
And you're thinking, you're like really trying to deconstruct that comment.
like, yeah, is he
Just
calling me a dummy?
He's calling me a dummy, or is the concept a dummy,
Yeah.
or is the picture dumb?
Yeah. So I just erased it.
There we go.
There's no like,
man.
there's no like me going back like, it's not dumb. Like,
Yeah.
you know, argue with
Yeah.
you.
Just the post itself.
I just take it
there's
away.
some
Just take it
behind
away.
Yeah.
Just leave all the positive stuff.
No, that's very empowering. I really appreciate your perspective on that.
Well, it took a while to learn. It wasn't easy. Social media is it's taught me a lot of lessons how to communicate with people
Sure.
on a more calm and respectful way,
Sure.
because I have a personality to uphold, and
Yeah.
people respect me and admire me by the way that I react towards people.
Absolutely.
But it hasn't always been the case. I mean, there's times where I want to go off on people,
Yeah.
and if I wasn't a Christian, I probably would.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I don't want to make Christianity look bad
Sure.
by me acting outside of that realm of Christianity.
That's
you know
right.
what I mean? But there's times I want to go off.
You
and tell them exactly how
tap that comment, reply back. You're like, All right, man.
Yeah.
You do the thing.
I
You
got a
delete it.
lesson for you. Type it out.
You're lucky.
Type it out.
Delete it.
You're
Delete
lucky
it.
I love Jesus. Because I'll be telling you something.
And you're one of his people, so you're lucky.
No, it's good practice for me.
That's
you know?
great.
It's
Yeah.
good practice for me.
Reservation.
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
And I'm human. I have feelings too. My feelings get hurt.
Sure.
You know, but I don't cry when my feelings get hurt. I get pissed.
Yeah.
You know, and you know what happens when you get angry.
Yeah.
You know, stuff comes out of your mouth.
You do stupid stuff. Yeah.
You do stupid stuff. You
do
say
stupid
stupid
stuff. That's
stuff,
right. Yeah,
and it's just a feeling inside that. It's just a natural reaction,
Right.
you know, and maybe it's how I was brought up or how I was taught. But there's different ways that you can respond to calm the situation down, and I'm all about calming the situation down if I can.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, I'd like to pull us off of social media because that's the fake world, and we want to go into the real world.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about was your thing.
Okay.
So is the band still rolling, still playing shows?
I am catching a flight at 6:30 today to fly into Vegas.
Yeah.
To play tonight in Las
Play
Vegas.
tonight in Vegas. Playing tonight in Vegas.
So I told that they're driving from Carlsbad right now to Vegas. And I told them, hey, I'll see you there. I didn't crash, so I'm good to go.
Good to go.
That's always a good like comment. Like, I'm alive. I can play.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that's so tough about like, we work in skateboard manufacturing, and we do a lot of typing, and every time like I fall and I hurt my wrist or something, I'm like, oh man, I can't type. Oh, I can't work. How am I going to do this?
Yeah.
So I just start doing like the voice to text, and then I do it to my email.
Yeah.
So that way I don't have to type as much. But like same with that, like if you fall, here, like being able to play,
I need both hands.
you need both hands.
I need my voice.
You need your voice.
I need to
Yeah.
stand up.
That's
Yeah.
right. Just stand up.
But I mean, does your wrists or palms get sore when you have to go play?
Like from writing.
From writing?
From writing?
No,
Yeah.
it's if I hurt a finger, if I
Or something.
pull my thumb or my fingers,
Yeah.
or if I hurt my shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just, mountain bike's dangerous, and I always have that in the back of my mind, like, I got to keep it a little bit mellow today
I got
because
shows to play.
something to do. But when the show's like a week out or 2 weeks out, then it's on. Like,
Yeah, I'm gonna send it. Yeah,
For it.
you can recover.
Yeah.
But we're playing tonight
Playing
in
tonight.
Vegas at Punk Rock Bowling.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, Hogs and Heifers.
that's a rad venue.
Yeah, we're playing with. We're open up for Ignite.
Ignite. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's rad.
So
That's so rad.
we go on at 1 a.m. tonight, so I have plenty of time.
Plenty of time. 1 a.m.
get
slot.
there. Yeah.
The 1 a.m. slot.
So yeah. So
That's rough.
I started the band with another buddy through COVID.
Yep.
And when all that stuff was shut down, we started writing an album, and we ended up recording, and we had not played a show yet. So we were just kind of gearing up for when COVID was going to disappear and things were going to open up, that we were ready.
Start playing shows.
Yeah.
again. Yeah.
And it kind of worked out perfect. And we used that time when everything was like not happening to be productive and
Mhm.
creative. And we formed an amazing band that I'm very proud of. And it's probably the best music project that I've ever been associated with.
Right on.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's so great. The fact that you use the time of COVID to write and like refine.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. So that way, when it did come time to play shows, you're ready.
We're
You know,
ready.
you know the songs. You
Yeah.
remember the lyrics. Like
Yeah.
all that stuff is pretty important.
And we had recorded an album as well and put it out.
Oh yeah. So that way, you're not kind of going in blind. A lot of bands, and this is pretty traditional with bands, is they'll just start playing shows and then put an album out.
Yeah.
And they're kind of reversing what you just said.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to refine themselves on stage for the album, but you guys did like kind of the opposite: refine the album, refine the band to play
Before we
shows.
even played.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was right now with social media and everything, and that all those music platforms,
Yep.
it's really easy to get music out there.
Good point.
And so definitely having the content really helps promote the band and able to make it popular enough to bring people into a venue to come watch the band play.
Yeah.
And obviously, because I'm in the band, there's already some notoriety.
Yeah,
People wanted just to meet me,
I assume
and
so.
they know that I've been playing music my whole life, and they want to hear what's this new project.
Yeah,
What has he got going on these days?
and your influence, like, because like you know, decades of skateboarding that and also skate culture. I mean, we talk about this all the time, like how, you know, growing up in skateboarding, we're all we find music from skaters. Like you know, one of my favorite Spotify playlists is it's called skate video music.
Yep.
And it's like all, you know,
From all
just
the skate
tracks
videos
from
you
all
watch,
skate
yeah,
videos. And so much I'll like listen to it and I'll hear a song and I remember the trick or like the edit or something. And
in the genres.
it's so broad.
Yeah,
Oh,
all kinds of stuff.
you know, we were having that jam at Huntley and I threw it on there, and it was like there was a bunch of different people there that were from all walks of life. And I was like, what playlist can I put on that should cover a broad demographic of musical taste? And I was like, skate video music.
No, it's amazing.
It's perfect.
When we would do our video parts, that was a key element of putting a skate video together, was having the right music. And sometimes we would hear a song and we would edit the skate part to the song, you know, kind of make it flow a little bit.
I do it all
better.
the time.
Yeah. And so
I probably learned it from y'all.
yeah, I mean, music just puts you in the mood, you
It
know,
does.
and
It does.
gets you hyped up. And so even like with Tony Hawk Pro Skater, a lot of music was introduced to people that never heard these bands before through playing video games.
Oh yeah.
That was connected to skateboarding.
Yep.
And I was very fortunate enough to introduce bands to the Tony Hawk Pro Skater game.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I brought Mill and Colin into their playlist, and I also brought this band from Australia, Body Jar,
Body
into,
jar.
into the
Okay.
and then also brought the Faction in there on the third game that I was in.
Mm-hmm.
So we're working on a new Tony Hawk Pro Skater remake of 3 and 4.
Oh really?
Yeah, they just
Oh, they did
released
the 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Yep.
So now we're working on 3 and 4.
Did the soundtrack
revised.
stay the same? Or was it what or are you
I'm not quite sure, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to get urethane in there. So I'm trying to use
There we go.
my pool
There we go.
to get the band in there. Some, you know,
Is it gonna happen?
some exposure. I'm pushing for it. We'll see.
That's cool.
I'm pushing for it,
And I mean it I think that's the fact that you come from such a, you know, the heritage time of skateboarding, that it's like they would be a fool if they didn't. I think.
I'm just stoked to be in the game, you know,
Oh yeah,
regardless, but to include my friends in there as well. It's a dream come true for them,
absolutely.
you know, and to have another one of my bands showcased in that video game would be amazing. Even though I don't play those video games anymore.
Right.
I'm not interested.
But you're in them.
Yeah, me
You're in them.
I don't either.
When they first came out, I was all over it.
Oh,
I was-
yeah.
and I would play so much my thumbs were hurting.
I remember when was I remember the demo came in Thrasher or Transworld. I can't remember which one, but it came in the magazine, and at our local skate shop, the Skate Station in Fayetteville, we play their Tube TV VCR. We played that demo forever. I mean, it probably stopped working because we played it so much. But that was a very a transformative time.
Yeah, and like even when that video game came out in 99, 2000.
99, 2000. That sounds right.
Yeah,
That sounds
there was
right.
a lot of negativity around that as well.
Really?
Oh yeah, like I would hear people.
I don't know that we heard it.
Oh, I heard it all the time.
Oh man.
And it's like, man, it's not real skating. You're
Oh.
not skating. You're playing with your thumbs. It's like you're not. If you want to in the
You wanna
skateboarding, why don't you go
skate.
out and
Why
get
don't
a
you
real
go
skateboard?
skate?
and get a
Yeah.
skateboard.
Yeah.
But little do they know that that game is inspired what skaters are doing today.
Oh yeah.
Like I am so amazed to see how much skateboarding has progressed. When I see the tricks that these kids are doing, I'm like, wow, we did that 24 years ago, playing it with our thumbs. And these kids they don't even know any better. Like, wait, that's not real. Like, and so it influenced them to actually try it.
Yeah.
And do it. And like for someone to do a kickflip nose slide to a 360 shove it out to a manual, like it's insane all in one trick.
All in
Like
one.
the combo
You
list.
would never have thought about that unless someone saw it on a video game.
There's
trick.
a lot of
Yeah.
times where we're just sitting around and it's like somebody would pull off something gnarly and
Mm-hmm.
you're like going, man, there's nothing else you could do.
Like, how could
And
you
then it
push this
just
further?
goes
Yeah.
to another level.
Yeah.
So like
So
you know Mitchie Brusco?
Yeah.
Okay, so you
Brusco?
know
Yep.
900 is like two. What is it?
2.5.
Or one
three-
and a, one? Like
Well, 360. So
well, he did a 12
12,
something.
It's
1260.
I don't know, but it was,
We are not snowboarders.
It was the most spins I ever
Competitions,
seen someone do
Yeah.
on a quarter pipe.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that was only possible in the video game,
Yeah.
and he made it reality.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's envision. You know, I think that's a thing it becomes a visionary tool
yeah,
where you see something, you see it executed. I do it all the time with tricks where I have to like play it over in my head.
Mhm.
Like I have to envision myself doing it.
Mhm.
And when you can visualize it, it's like you can create it,
yeah,
you know? And I think that, you know, to fast forward into, you know, honestly, Tony Hawk Pro Skater was so transformative that nowadays there are games like Session, which is a skate simulator,
Mhm.
and it's putting in like real physics
Wow,
where you know, so like gravity, like you know, when they do, you can do a kickflip and it can be kind of like mobbed or it
Yeah.
can be slobby,
wow,
you know, and it's like it's cool to see that because then it's going to be another level of visionary visualization for another era of skateboarders that are going to push it another level than what we've seen
Yeah.
from the old days to now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of like nervous. Like, what are we going to see?
What are we going to see?
Well, seeing like with mountain biking, it's kind of the same thing. Mountain biking is kind of like the street style of skateboarding, you know,
100%.
especially the free riding.
100%.
You know, besides the racing,
Mhm.
the downhill
That's
racing,
true. But the free ride
the
side.
free riding is just amazing. Like, what you can look at a mountain and be like, man, I'm going to paint a picture coming down this
Come
thing.
down
I'll
that, yeah.
visualize going off this slip, going
That's
around
right.
this, going through these trees, going down this, you know, rocky formation. I mean, that's the way skateboarders look at the environment, just driving
Driving down the street.
You know, it's
That's what
and
got me
so
hooked right away.
that's
Yeah.
and that's what's exciting and attractive to the sport and the lifestyle of mountain biking. And that's I think that's why I like it, because you know, I was riding with some YT riders and I can just watch them when we're going. They're looking for different hits. You know,
They're looking for alt lines.
they're hitting
Yeah.
things that you'd be like, I just passed right by that.
But they're
You
like,
know, and this
you know.
one of the riders, Dakota, is just hitting this one thing, and then you know, Aiden is hitting another thing, Dylan's hitting another thing, and you just watch them when we're riding behind them, like, oh, that's kind of like street
it's like
skating.
street
Yeah.
skating. Oh man, I'm so
you
happy.
see
to hear
little
that.
things that
Yeah.
the normal eye may not see.
So
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, well, and I mean, I again so happy to hear your perspective on that because I have been preaching that here.
Yeah.
You know, we have a lot of skateboarders like so. Gnarkansas comes like we were a skateboard company,
Mhm.
and then you know a lot of us started getting into mountain biking. We really wanted to like pull it together,
Mhm.
and I was telling a lot of the skaters that I was hanging with like this is like skating, but it's not, but it is. And I think my favorite part is I feel like I'm skating again, like I'm learning skateboarding again. Like the
Mhm.
feeling that I got when I like was just out there, that little Grom pushing on the streets and just
Yeah.
learning
I also-
tricks here and
I
there.
think the skater mind pulls out a unique perspective on mountain biking too,
Yeah.
by seeing those different little things
For
that
sure.
you know, because
Looking at it like street skating.
see things differently than other mountain bikers may
sure.
see it, and that's what's cool. Like, oh, you can hit
Well,
off that.
The vision's here. So, like, you know, Mark had told me about this thing called the hammer, dropping the hammer.
Yeah.
So I knew about that coming here. We rode it. We did it yesterday. And then today I'm just riding down a path and I see this little bike area where there's kids and there's little tiny like drop off that starts small, medium, and then large.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh, here's like little learning places for the hammer.
Yeah. Oh
You
yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So it's like
Over
you-
the Slurping. Yeah, the new skill center.
exactly.
That's right. Yep,
So
yep.
that little center we rode back by there. I'm like, that is so cool that there's like a little area to teach people the beginning areas to give them the courage to drop the hammer like when they see it, because they're like, I've already progressed to that next level because of this little area that was given to us
Right.
to practice on.
Oh,
And-
yeah.
and sometimes you need stuff like that to to encourage people to do things that they wouldn't normally do. So it's a really good learning experience, and have these places, for kids and anybody. Even like I ran into a couple that they're like in their late, I think they're in their mid 60s, and one gentleman was telling that I wasn't sure if his wife or his girlfriend, she's 63, and he's teaching her how to jump
Yes.
on a mountain bike.
That's
And
great.
she's like jumping like 14 feet now at 63.
I
Which is
love
cool,
it.
which
I
is
love
cool,
it. Yeah.
And so he says he watches my social media, and he says, he's like, I know you're kind of close to my age. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be 60 in November. He's like, I knew it. And he's like, when I see the stuff that you're doing, man, it just gives me inspiration to keep going and believe in myself that I can do it too, and yeah, so that's my enjoyment of being old and being a grandpa and being out there and inspiring other older people.
I can relate.
Yeah, I know I got 6 more years left in the tank, or at least something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Something to shoot for. Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah, the funniest.
My kids are all like 28, and they're like, "What are you doing, Dad?" Like, and I'm just like.
And then you're getting the grandkids on the bikes too.
Yeah, my
like,
grandkids, I take them out there and
Yeah.
into that skill
You're
set.
leading the way, man.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
that's what we're doing. We're paving the way for other people to believe in themselves, to know that, you know what, you don't have to give up on your childhood, your youth. You don't need to grow old.
That's right.
You know what's funny is, like, I tell my mom this. My mom will go, I can't believe you're jumping bikes. Like, because I'll put stuff on there. She goes, Dad would never be doing that at 40 and 50, and I was like, and then we're talking about how kids are progressing with skateboarding,
Right.
doing stuff on a video game.
Yeah.
And it's like people that were 50 and 60 back in the 70s, they weren't even capable of doing this stuff, maybe, and are not doing it. And here we are, we're doing it. We're like being youthful.
But I feel like they weren't capable because they didn't have the belief in themselves that they could.
Right.
So
Sure.
you're only as good as the generation you come from and what you learn and what you inherit. You inherit from your ancestors, and what they believe, you're going to believe. But when there's someone there before you that has a vision, that something that you never thought of, then it progresses, us to another level.
It progresses the whole thing. It pushes the whole engine
The
forward.
whole world.
The whole engine forward. Yeah.
I would have never thought that I'd have a cell phone in the 70s where I could
It's a computer.
call people, look at people like Star Trek. You remember the
The data,
little
the
flick
com,
open
the
and
flick
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
I mean, this is what
it is. Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
back then it was a joke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And someone made it a reality. But they thought about it in a TV thing first, in a movie. Someone was dreaming the idea. And I feel like everything in this world starts with a dream.
Sure.
Starts with a vision. Even though it's impossible for someone to comprehend, it's not impossible.
Well,
Right. That's interesting.
like the trick, the impossible. I mean, that was a funny one.
Yeah.
Who was the first one that did the impossible? Was it?
I'm not sure.
Um,
I know Ed Templeton was the one that kind of mastered it.
Uh-huh.
So I'm not sure.
I feel like Mullen could have been in that.
Probably. Yeah. I mean, he was the first one to do a kickflip.
The kickflip. Yep.
And we didn't even recognize the kickflip for until 3 years later. We just thought,
What is that weird little thing you're doing?
Little freestyle trick. Where
Freestyle trick. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you flick your board until people wanted to do them on their vert boards and their street boards, and then it became a thing, street skating.
Yeah.
And
Do you think
flipping
that
your
was
board.
the birth of the pop shape?
The popsicle stick? Yeah, it definitely came from the type of what kind of like the freestyle boards look like.
Freestyle, yeah.
Same amount of tail, same amount of nose. Because back in the day, for some reason, there was more tail than nose. And you had the wheelbase. And so, because there was a lot of tricks we didn't do on the nose. It was basically done on your tail and going forward, not so much going backwards or skating switch stance. So now that the boards have become evenly designed, people can skate both ways on them, and that's where the switch stance skating comes in.
Switch.
Yeah, either goofy footer or your regular foot.
Man.
I always feel like, and my memory's foggy on it, but because I'm older and trying to think back when I was 12 or 13, but I just always remember coming from Sacramento, Blockhead came out with this board that was similar to it.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember if it's perfectly round, but it was like this is weird. The tail and the nose is kind of the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, very symmetrical.
And then, like you
That's what I
said, it was
remember.
all tail before. It was like full big tail,
Mhm.
nothing nose.
Right.
You know, but then also, like, I feel like, you know, as noses started to steepen, you started to see people do bigger ollies because you had something to slide up to and level the board out. And I always remember seeing like old school ollies. They just had that look, and I think it comes from no nose. You know, it's like you have to get that tail up somehow. You know, and it's
they
like
were wide and very heavy too.
it's
Yeah.
a lot heavier to pop in the air.
Yeah, wide trucks, big wheels.
Big wheels.
So
Yep.
definitely a lot more board to get off the ground.
That's
There was the Alva Fred Smith board. It had a super steep tail, and I remember, like, you know, being kids, and they're like, oh, you got to get one of those because the tail is way steeper and you can pop your ollies higher and stuff.
That's funny.
Yeah.
But we're trying to figure out the physics behind getting the board in the air.
In the air. Yeah. It was fun times though.
That's funny. When did you first start doing like modern tricks? Do you remember like the transition?
What's the definition of a modern?
I know. I think about we're talking about like the kick
After a
flips.
kick turn?
We're talking about kick flips not coming into vert. You know, like you know, there had to have been a time where it was like going more technical in vert.
Well, you know, street skating basically came around in the late 80s, early 90s. Before that was bowl and vert skating, and that was a popular thing at the time.
Yeah.
And because a lot of people didn't have access to vert ramps or bowls, they just took it to the streets. And a lot of guys were trying to emulate the tricks that we were doing on vert on the street. And that's where the term street style came around. Jump ramps and little board, you know, rails, and which then morphed into street skating, which they actually took it to the real streets and tried to, like, you know, like as an artist, paint a picture out in the environment and try to do things that people would never even dream of, like alling down 6 stairs, like sliding down a handrail that's kinked,
Sure.
or alling over a gap, or kick flipping into a nose slide. I mean, so, you know, that got really, really popular in the early 90s. And so when vert skating vert skating and bowl skating went down and it wasn't popular anymore, you either had to reinvent yourself, which I did as a street skater, and I had to put away my pads and I had to put away the big wide board with the big wheels.
Yeah.
And just let that sit to the side and discover this new type of skating, which was popular with the kids, and that was street skating. And the guys that couldn't make that transition either quit skating or they started their own skateboard brands and started becoming manufacturers of the sport. So a lot of freestyle died way before that.
Yeah.
It wasn't popular when the vert skating came in. And so a lot of the companies that were gearing up were all ex-freestylers, you know, that started all these companies. And so they were taking over, Blind and World Industries was Steve Rocco.
Rocco, yeah.
And he was a freestyle dude.
Right.
You know, so he wasn't, you know, famous for what we were doing, but he was famous for what he did. But then when that died, he wanted to start his own brand. And that's when, you know, he was investing into street skating and cared less about vert.
Yeah, I feel like World didn't have any kind of vert representation.
No, because it was dead. You know, I even actually myself, I lost my model for like 3 years. Like Powell actually approached me and said, hey, you know, vert boards don't sell anymore. Your model doesn't sell. We have to take it away because we're not making any money. So I had to like humble myself and be like, okay, well, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
What do I need to do to be in the game, to help keep pushing skateboarding and pushing the company? So I just let it go. I say, okay, I'll do what I can do. I'll just ride Powell boards and I'll just help promote the company and make videos and form a team, like try to find riders. So like a team manager role. And so I did that for a while and I didn't have a pro board.
Wow.
For 3 years. And then it wasn't until 96 or 97 that I got introduced a model again.
Man, And I mean, that had to have been such a tough time where you had focused so much on the vert craft, and it's like, hey, I got to put all this to the side,
Yeah.
and basically I got to learn street. I got to like do what these guys are doing now. And I think that's kind of what my question was about, was just like, you know, there that, and you nailed it, was when that time was where you had to make that shift. That's real interesting.
Yeah, I reinvented myself, and I got a whole new group of friends that were into the same thing, of meeting at a spot to street skate, to learn how to learn flat bar rails and learn grinds and crooked grinds and flips and skate ledges. And we would just go out and try to find spots and learn tricks and film.
Yeah.
So we're still trying to progress the sport and try to progress as a skater, but I was entering a new avenue of, you know, what skateboarding means to somebody.
Yeah.
You know, and I was trying to, pretty much, I was being trendy. You know, I was going with where the sport was going. And because of my passion, my love for the sport, I didn't ever want to leave the industry. So I needed to conform to it, you know, and I did. And
Yeah.
I felt like that's what helped sustain my career. And that's why people know me for such a long time, because I've been in every single era of skateboarding since when I first started.
Yeah.
I never went away. You know, I just tried to conform to it. So like, if it wasn't happening anymore, well, what is happening? Well, I'm going to go with that.
Man, what foresight.
Yeah.
What foresight.
What did it feel good when like bowl skating started to be popular again?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It felt great, because I remember the point where I said, you know what, I can't street skate anymore. I'm over it. And it was the year 2000 when I was trying to make this video part of the gnarliest things I could do on street. And I was 35 years old at that time. And I'm like, man, I do not want to fall down these 17 stair handrails anymore. I'm over it. Like, I don't have anything left to prove at age 35 as a street skater.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to get hurt anymore. And I remember that one year I fell really hard on 3 different gnarly handrails I was trying. And I just said, you know what, I can't do this anymore. And then all of a sudden, we have these things called Soul Bowl. We're having a bowl event on the beach, and it's going to be a wooden ramp with a bowled out ends. And I'm like, oh,
You're like, I can skate that. Yeah.
and enter this arena. And that's when I put the street skate away and got the pads and the vert board and started skating that stuff again. I felt like I was back in the place where I started. And so I just kept doing those contests, and they started doing masters events where older guys, and then they were starting doing legends events, and I just participated in that. So I was able to compete and keep, you know, having a place in the industry in those events.
Gotcha.
You know?
And it's cool now, like, just to see, like, there's like street league, but then there's also like vert stuff that's equally, to me, I like watching both of it, you know, and it's popular and it gets eyes on it, and it's
all amazing. It's all amazing. It's all inspirational, and people are attracted to it, and whatever it's going to help the sport grow and maintain, I'm all for it.
Yeah, me too.
Right. Even it entering the Olympics. I mean, some people are really against it. You know, some people were against the X Games. They were against corporate America coming in and taking a piece of our sport, you know, that we created, which is fine. I don't mind other people coming in and throwing money into it.
Or the sport needs it. I mean, like
I said, the money makes things, you know, makes things work. And if a company that has nothing to do with skating wants to come in and throw money in it, so be it. If their heart and soul's not in it, they're going to be gone just as fast as they came. But at least they threw money at the sport to help it grow.
Well, and to help the people that are involved in it stay in it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's not, and I'm sure you know this, making money in skateboarding is a difficult thing, especially when you're actually skating. You know, like you're putting your life on the line.
Yeah, you are. I mean, it's dangerous sport.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous sport. It's fun. And same with mountain biking. Mountain biking is a dangerous sport, man. And you could make it as dangerous as you want it.
That's right.
You know, depending on how you feel that day.
No, that's
definitely
that's true.
It's like,
how do you
if
feel?
I'm not feeling it, I just walk away.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's a good sign. That's why it's wise to know when you're feeling it, when you're not.
It's hard to do it, but, you know, especially when you got all your homies and everybody, the Stokes there, everybody's hyped, but you're just not feeling it. And you're like,
Yeah. And
just-
sometimes
just-
the confidence comes from your friends.
oh yeah,
You know,
Oh, yeah.
they push you,
That's right.
they encourage you.
Oh, we
And
were.
that's what I love about skating is we don't discourage people.
Oh yeah, that's one of the I feel like
You
a
know?
common bond between the skating and the mountain biking. It really feels. I talk about it all the time. The session
Yeah.
is still it's
Oh,
the
it's amazing.
same. It's still
we,
there.
We session drop the hammer, and there'll be little kids doing
Yeah.
it for the first time, and we
Everybody's
do it
like,
all day long, and we're just
Yeah.
like, yeah, and they're just coming back around, and the just
It's amazing.
The stoke.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah,
stoke.
it's just
dude.
the energy in their face, and
Yeah.
they're just so stoked.
So your friends, do you where do you normally ride in SoCal?
Mountain bikes?
Yeah, mountain bike.
Mountain biking.
Yeah.
Well, it's changed over the years. Let's see. Calavera Hills is where I kind of started, you know, and then I think the Rangers started tearing down some of the jump lines because a lot of the hikers were complaining. So they have mountain biking has its own issues as well.
Yeah,
You know, when it comes to hiking, comes to trails,
sure.
comes to trail building,
Yeah,
comes to people blowing out spots. You know, it comes to people not respecting the environment. You know, so I understand.
yeah,
But you know, there's secret spots that mountain bikers will dig.
Yep.
And they only tell certain people because they don't want it to get blown out or get ruined or get taken away. There's places around there where I live in San Marcos and in that area, North County.
okay.
I've ventured off to this place called Greer,
Greer.
which
we
is in
ridden there.
Temecula.
Yeah, I've ridden there with Scott.
There's Vale Lake in Temecula that's once again catering to the mountain bike community. They're building new trails there. There's Sky Park that's expensive
Yeah,
Yeah.
to climb.
Yeah.
Yeah,
With your own,
Sky
to pedal up.
Sky Park 2.0 is free.
Exactly.
yeah,
But, it's
Yeah.
amazing place to ride
Mhm.
and what they offered. There's not anything that's available
around
there.
Yeah,
Yeah, so there's different. I've been to Laguna once. I've been to some other places near Lake Elsinore, and
Yeah.
there's this one place that's north, really way north, called Area 51,
Oh yeah.
and that
That's-
place
that's
is
beautiful.
incredible.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I've seen those jumps. Those jumps look
Yeah.
It's really,
proper.
and there's
Like,
guys out there digging every day, and they
So
just for the
sick.
love of it,
yeah.
and they don't mind you knowing where the place is.
Oh,
They
right.
want you to come visit.
Well,
I
I
think
thought
they're very proud of
for
what
sure.
they've done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of think about like DIY. It feels like it's like DIY skate culture. It
Yeah,
really blended
my,
in.
My breeding grounds for mountain biking was Ted's, and then, man, it's
I've
so
been to
much,
Ted's.
so much controversy over there.
Really?
Hiking,
Yeah.
and biking.
Oh,
and
yeah,
land
yeah.
Hiker,
management
biker,
and
yeah.
all
For
that
sure.
stuff.
Well, Laguna is probably the worst place that I've experienced mountain biking and hikers.
Mhm.
You know, because it's like I'd be coming down around a turn and there's like 10 hikers coming up the same trail. I'm like, whoa, where did these people come
There's
from?
trails that have berms and jumps.
Yeah.
And it's like the obliviousness. It's like,
Why are you
look
hiking
around,
this?
But I think maybe the hikers were there before the mountain bikers did.
Yeah,
but
probably.
it's like no skateboard mine. You're like, I see
Yeah.
a jump in these gnarly
I
berms,
know.
but this
And I'm
is
gonna-
a hiking trail. You know, I don't know.
But you know, so it is. It's all new, you
Mhm.
know, and it's growing and but the community I feel is growing in the mountain bike community. The bikes are getting even more progressive, you know, and so is the sport, you know, and the competitions are gnarly. It's just growing, you know, and it just like it really resonates with me because it reminds me of where skateboarding came from.
And you're even shredding motocross too, right?
Thank you. Yeah, I have a strong love for dirt biking
Yeah,
for sure.
right on.
Yeah.
So you're just
And
doing
you know,
everything.
and actually the mountain biking came from dirt biking
Uh-huh.
because the only reason why I picked up a mountain bike, and it was actually a gravel bike, was because I watched one of the pros how they train, and I thought they just rode dirt bikes, but on the like outside the track they would like ride a bike
Makes
for
sense.
endurance,
For endurance,
you know. And so I'm like, oh, I wonder if I should do that for skating, because when we skate these combi pro tech pool parties,
Oh yeah.
I mean, a lot of the guys were exhausted at our age. They're exhausted, and I wanted to be like the dude, like to pop out and be like, I'm ready.
Still had your
Let's
breath.
run,
Yeah.
you know. And so
Mhm.
I would ride a bike and just get conditioned, my legs and you know my lungs. And then when I moved to SoCal, I started riding with friends that were going up into the mountains, not just flat, but going up in the mountains and going down some gnarly stuff, bumpy. And I'm like, man, I need a dual suspension bike.
Yeah.
You know, and then actually when I started going to Calavera Lake or hills, they had like these little jumps. And I started how to learn how to jump a little bit, and then going to Greer, a bunch of trails, which is amazing because all the hard work that they put into Greer digging those trails, those are gnarly trails.
Yeah,
They didn't happen overnight. So yeah, I have a lot of respect for all the guys putting in the hard work and sweat to build those trails for us to enjoy. But there's like little jumps in all these like single trail things that like pop up, and you have to be ready for them. And so one of my favorite places to ride, it just brought up, is YT Mill in San Clemente. Have you been there?
Yeah,
And the trails that they've built there are amazing.
Oh yeah,
You know?
Jimmy's told me that it's something that I need to go witness. So
It's really
next
cool.
time we're out there, we've got to hit it up.
There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff there, and we have an e-bike. It's even better
Yeah,
because there's a lot of elevation to climb,
Mhm.
and you know, if you have an acoustic bike, one doesn't have a pedal assist, then you know, you only want to climb it once.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're tired, but with an e-bike, you can do it 5 or 6 times and have a great time.
that was my
You know?
rough time. Riding California was the difference. I went there on an analog bike and I was toasted.
The elevation is gnarly. and
It's one of the
fun.
unique spots that coming up in mountain biking was one of the unique spots to where you go downhill first and climb out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So when I first went there, I
Yeah.
was like, oh, we're starting cold. Oh man. Yeah.
When the e-bike came out, the pedal assist bike, it just brought a whole new meaning to the sport for me myself, and it just brought so much joy and enjoyment of wanting to keep riding and progressing
Yeah,
and just having a great time, you know. And so I'm stoked that it's progressed to that level, you know,
dude,
and so that makes me enjoy it even more.
that's great.
We're glad you do because you
Yeah.
inspire a lot of us.
Thank you.
for sure.
And I'm glad you came to Arkansas. I mean, I know YT dragged you out here, but now you're here and now you know how cool it is.
No, and it's cool, and I feel like I've put in the work to be able to be invited here.
Oh,
You know,
100%,
dude,
so
you're verified at this table right now.
Yeah.
You put that work in.
Yeah,
Thanks.
for sure.
Well, I think we've reached the end of our time. You got to get out of here. You got a flight to catch, get into Vegas to play with urethane.
Gotta go rock out, man.
So
Yeah.
sick, man.
I know, my other life.
You're on life. It's all the same. It's
Man, I
one
get to
life.
drive home tomorrow and be dad,
What?
full-time dad.
Hey,
That's the best part.
what's
Right?
the name of that show? One Life to Live.
Yeah. Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Man, Cap, appreciate it, dude.
Appreciate it. Thank you, man.
Super,
Thanks for having
super
you
rad.
guys.
And
Yeah.
we appreciate it. We'll see you next time, maybe.
Yep, of course,
Dude.
I'll be back out here.
Let's
for
do
sure.
it. Let's hit some trails together. All right. Thanks, everybody. See you next time.
Hey.
See ya.